Hollywood, Alto, Nido apartments.
I make up stories all the time. Do you want to hear one?
Sure.
Okay.
Hey! That's not fair! You should warn me!
Walking the Walk of Fame.
The poor dope. He always wanted a pool. Well, in the end, he got himself a pool. Only the price turned out to be a little high. Let's go back about 6 months and find the day when it all started. I was living in an apartment house above Franklin and Ivar. Things were tough at the moment. I hadn't worked in a studio for a long time. So I sat there grinding out original stories, 2 a week. Only I seemed to have lost my touch. Maybe they weren't original enough. Maybe they were too original. All I know is they didn't sell.
I can't believe it's been sat here this entire time, and I've driven past it 1,000 times on the 101. And no one's driving past this building and saying, oh, this building was in Sunset Boulevard.
Me, other tour guide?
Yes.
This is the Alto Nido apartments. This is William Holden's residence in the movie Sunset Boulevard. A perfect example of that kind of noir 20s Raymond Chandler kind of thing.
50 years ago, mystery writer Raymond Chandler portrayed a city with more than its share of misery and murder. The streets of Los Angeles, he wrote, were mean streets.
Really looking around this neighborhood, aside from the highway and the Capitol Records building, it really looks a lot like it did in the 1920s and 30s.
A lot of people believe that Elizabeth Short, aka the Black Dahlia, lived here, but it's been debunked by numerous Dahlia experts, mainly because she couldn't afford the rent here at the time of her death. And this street right here in front of the building is where Humphrey Bogart would pick up Lauren Bacall when they were secretly dating so that they could mess around in his car.
Just down the street from here is where Nathaniel West lived.
The Day of the Locust house. I watched some of Day of the Locust last night. It's a very strange movie.
Well, if there isn't any chocolate syrup, then I don't want any ice cream.
The book is much better. The movie was in the 70s.
She is so interesting looking. Karen Black. She kind of has a cat-like face.
Huh. I like her. All right, this is Nathaniel West's house. He was known for 2 books. Miss Lonely Hearts, which was a satirical take on how bad the newspaper industry was in New York, and Day of the Locust, which was a satirical take on how bad the film industry was here in Hollywood. There's a lot of those LA is so horrible kind of fiction books, but that's one of the best ones, kind of the classic one. He moved out here to work on movie scripts, didn't have a lot of success, wrote a bunch of B-movie scripts, but we really wallowed in that desperation of old Hollywood that you see portrayed. That was when he came up with his idea for Day of the Locust.
It was the most exciting, most wonderful, most glamorous place on earth.
93, take 5.
Hollywood.
Just picture it. Old Hollywood. There's a lot of weird characters living in this building with Nathaniel West. There's a dwarf. There's Homer Simpson. There's a character in this book named Homer Simpson. Not Homer Simpson, Homer Simpson. But he was sort of this like dumb guy from the Midwest, moves out here for his health and kind of gets taken for a ride.
This is the Day of the Locust.
I've seen the movie and read the book. The movie, I think Donald Sutherland plays Homer Simpson. I saw it at the New Beverly, and when he's like, I'm Homer Simpson, everybody clapped. There's an aspiring starlet.
Karen Black is Faye Greener. She wanted more than stardom. She wanted to live her dreams.
Yeah, really that kind of dark side of Hollywood story, that motif that gets repeated over and over again. He died in a car accident in El Centro. He was, I think he was a notoriously bad driver. He died the day after F. Scott Fitzgerald died. It was a friend of his. He wasn't really a widely known author in his day, but the reason Day of the Locust has become this iconic LA book is because even though it's like 100 years old, it's very much like how LA is now. And it goes to show you that if something is like it is now, it was like it was in the past. And it just helps you kind of make these connections about what's really going on here.
And I think his apartment was in the northeast corner of this building, a studio, with a Murphy bed.
Is the Day of the Locust.
The Day of the Locust is often heralded as one of the great literary depictions of Hollywood, and Sunset Boulevard has been described as the best drama ever made about the movies. It's imperative the buildings connected to these classics be preserved. Like Joe Gilles in Sunset Boulevard, we all arrived in Hollywood with the same dream. And it's nice to know that I can look up at the Alto Nido apartments and be reminded of mine, no matter how far off they seem. I totally identify with William Holden right now. Out of work and desperate.
Yeah.
Maybe after this we should drive down Sunset Boulevard and we'll get you an old rich lady and get me a sugar daddy.
Okay.
Hollywood, Alto Nido Apartments.